Hi everyone and welcome to Module 2 Exercise 2 in which we will be covering Exercise 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3. Okay. In this week's module we'll be talking about managing projections in the income statement. So to do this you would be in your exercise section of your course shell. I've written down the steps over here. The first step that you have to do is actually to just download this file. So I'm going to do that with you. So just click on download and this file will be downloaded over here. Once you open the file, go to the instructions tab and fill in your name and student ID and read the instructions. After reading all instructions, proceed to exercise 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3. After you complete Module 2 Exercise Excel, submit this document in Module 2 Exercise Excel Assignment folder. So this is in your assignment folder. Once you complete this module, this exercise sheet, you will go to your assignment folder and you will make a submission in this folder. Okay? Only once you complete, let me just go back. Only once you complete this module will module 3 be available for you next week. Okay, so if you do not complete this activity of this week or this module, you will not get the material for module 3. So that's the way it's going to work for this particular week. If you are unable to solve this exercise, I'm putting in a video for you which I'm recording right now, so you will have that video available for you. So let's open module 2 Excel sheet. And now the next thing that will happen is that will probably give you a view like this, that is a protected sheet. So just say enable. And now this is an important step. Please add your name. So I'll add my name and your student ID. In this way, I know that this is your work that you are submitting to me. Do not forget to save from time to time by pressing the save icon on top. Okay, this is the instructions tab that I was referring to. So what you will do is you will complete the pro forma of the upcoming year with the following projections. So we're going to talk about some projections, and you will need to calculate the change, the projected sales, and the percentage of sale for each category. Okay, you're calculating the percentage of sale. So both food and beverage sales are expected. So let's first go there. So for exercise 2.1, we will be referring to this sheet. For exercise 2.2, we will be referring to this sheet. And for exercise 2.3, we will be referring to the third sheet. So let's work on exercise 2.1 first, where we are looking at only this content. So over here, we have some information where we've been told that both food and beverage sales are expected to increase by 5%. So let's go to exercise 2.1. And this is the change. Whenever there is a change, we're saying there's going to be an increase. So this is your current year's number, and we are finding a projection for the upcoming year. So obviously there is a change between the current and the future. So we are trying to understand how much of that change is there and how will it affect our percentage. Okay, at the end of the day, we want to see how it reflects on our percentages. So in the instruction sheet, it says that both food and beverage sales are expected to increase by 5%. So we have the food and beverage sales, and we're saying it's going to increase by 5%. So how much is 5% of the food sales? So we take the current year's food sales. Oh, and sorry, before we start any kind of formula, we're going to be using some sort of formulas over here. Before I start any formula, I put in an equal to sign, okay? And then I take this cell over here, multiply asterisk by 5%. That is the amount of change. I then know my beverage is also going to change by 5%. So I can do the same, is equal to beverage sales of the current year multiplied by 5%. Okay. So my upcoming year will be equal to my current year plus the change. That will give me my upcoming year's numbers. The beverage sales will be the same way. Take the current year plus the change will give us the upcoming year. And what about the total sales? Total sales will be equal to the food sales plus the upcoming year's sales. And my total sales over here will be the change plus this number over here. Now, there are multiple ways of using Excel formulas. I'm teaching you the very, very absolute basic formula that there is to learn without any rocket science. Now, our job is not done. We still have more work to do. And what is the work that we're going to do now? We're going to find the percentage of sales. That's this column. So you can put this as percentage of sales. Okay. So to do the percentage of sales, it's very simple. What we're going to calculate is, we're going to say again, is equal to my upcoming year's sales divided by total sales into 100. Now, because this is Excel, we do not have to put into 100 because it's already preset with a percentage sign. If you were doing this in a normal cell, I'll just give you an example over here where I do the same calculation, is equal to my food sales divided by total sales. When I say equal to, it gives me another number. If I have to convert this number into percentage, because it's an index right now, I have to put in the formula and say into 100, and it'll give me a number exactly like this. Or I'm going to undo that. In Excel, if I just click on this number and I say percentage, and then it's rounding it up. I don't want to round it up, so I take up to 2 decimal points, and then it shows me this identical number. So this is already preset with a percentage, so that's why you did not have to multiply into 100. Okay, let's do the same for beverage sales now quickly. So if I want to find the percentage of beverage sales, I'll say is equal to, I will take my upcoming year's beverage sale divided by the total sales of my upcoming year. And if I was calculating this on paper, I would write into 100, but because this is an Excel sheet and the percentage is already loaded, I just say enter, and I have the number 29.33%. How do I know if this is correct? It's supposed to be 100% of your sales, but nonetheless, if you just mouse over this together, you will notice that it shows a sum of 100%, which is correct. Okay, now let's move on to the cost of sales. So we finished with this one. The next one that we are working on is that food and beverage cost percentage will remain the same. Now, this is a tricky question. whenever you're dealing with percentages, if one side percentage is always something divided by something. So in, let's say, our food cost, let's say, let me just make this a little bigger. Our food cost percentage was equal to food cost divided by food sales into 100. This was our formula. The point I'm getting at is that in any percentage, there are two aspects. We have the food cost and the food sales. If we have to maintain the same percentage, and if one part of the formula goes up, then the other part also has to go up by the same proportion to maintain the percent. So let's say, let's use this example over here. Over here, we know our food sales went up by 5%, correct? And now they're saying that the cost of sales remain the same, but if it has to remain the same percent, then we have to increase this by 5% also, because otherwise the percentage will not be the same. The percentage will otherwise change. So, sorry, if I go back over here, it says the food and beverage cost percentage. This percentage is very important. Whenever we're dealing with percentages, if one part of the equation changes, then the other part also has to change. So in this way, we'll also say that the food cost will change by 5%. So this is equal to food cost multiplied by 5%. Beverage cost will also increase by 5%. And then this, the cost total COGS is cost of goods sold, is equal to my food cost plus my beverage cost. Now, let's calculate the upcoming year. So the upcoming year in the same way is the current year plus the change is equal to the upcoming year. Okay, let me just see if I can put this in a formula for you in some way. So I'm going to draw. So current year plus change is equal to upcoming year. Okay, I hope that helps. Now I have to figure out how to get my cursor back. So draw, stop drawing. Oh, okay, perfect. So same way is equal to current year plus change is equal to upcoming year equal to current year plus change is equal to current year plus change. Enter. All right. And now we have all our numbers with us over here. Okay. If you noticed just now, what I just did is I took the sum of this and directly worked with that number over here, or which looks like this. This is the formula that I used. There are other ways of doing this also in the same method. Okay, I could have removed the total of this first and then subtracted this from this and then got the number over here. However it works for you. This was simple for me, so I did it that way. I'm going to make this bold so that it's clearly visible to us. Okay, and now try and use last week's example of the pie. This is the full pie that we have. Okay, and now we want to remove our food costs and then we want to see how much of a profit we have left. Now, food cost percentage formula, we all know the formula for food cost percentage is food cost divided by food sales into 100. So, same way, food cost divided by food sales into 100. We don't need to write the 100 over into 100 here because this is a ratio. We discussed this now. And in an Excel sheet, we do not need to add the percentage sign. I mean, you don't need to multiply by 100 if you already have set the cell to percentage formula. You see on top, it shows it's set to a percentage. Again, beverage cost is equal to beverage cost percentage is equal to beverage cost divided by beverage sales into 100. Now, total cost of goods sold is equal to total cost divided by total sales into 100. I hope we're good here so far. Now we're left with gross profit. Okay, so we're going to try and identify our gross profit. Now, how much of a gross profit are we actually making? That's what we want to check over here. I'm going to quickly just delete the cell because it's not required anymore. So to do this, I would say is equal to my total sales minus my total cost of goods sold. This is my gross profit. How much has changed? Very simple. We will say my upcoming year minus my current year will tell me the change that is expected. And for calculation's sake, I'll make this bold as well. All right. Now, we want to remove profit percentage. We studied this last week. Profit percentage is equal to the gross profit, divided by total sales to 100. Okay, we're doing good so far. Let's work on our controllable expenses now. So we finished one part, let me put it as one part of our sheet now. So we finished with this as well. Let's highlight it. Now we know that salaries and wages will increase by 4%. So let's go to salaries and wages and let's say how much of a change it happens. So we're saying the change is going to be 4%. So salaries and wages is equal to salaries and wages multiply by 4%. That's a change in a dollar value. The cost of employee benefits will increase at the same rate of salaries and wages. It's going to increase at the same rate of salaries and wages. So let's just highlight that as well. Go back to a sheet. So employee benefits will also increase same rate. Now the rate of salaries and wages was 4%, so this will also increase by 4%. Okay. Controllable expenses. Let's see what they're saying about controllable expenses. Controllable expenses will increase by $6,500. Now over here, they're giving us a dollar value, so we just need to enter the dollar value. We're not entering a percentage over here. So we've been told that other controllable costs will increase by 6,500. So that's a dollar value. So I'll just put 6,500 over here. All right, now that's looking nice. So my total controllable expenses change. My total change in controllable expenses is salaries and wages plus employee benefits plus other controllable expenses. Okay. Now, this is just the change. We need to find out the upcoming year. Same formula, current year plus change is equal to upcoming year. So it's equal to the current year plus change upcoming year. Same way for employee benefits, current year plus change is equal to upcoming year. Other controllable expenses, current year plus change is equal to upcoming year. Other controllable expenses, the total other controllable expenses is equal to current year plus the change is equal to the upcoming year. Now I did it in this method. Even if I would have just added all these three, it comes to the same total. That's how math works. Okay. It's not a hallelujah moment. Okay. Now, again, we want to remove the percentage of sales for each of these items. So we'll do the same thing. So we'll remove the salaries and wages is equal to the upcoming year divided by total sales. Now, here's a quick trick I want to show you. Only if you feel comfortable doing it, do it. If you don't feel comfortable, don't bother. Now, I know I'm going to divide all of this by total sales, and instead of repeating this time and time and time again, I'm just going to put a dollar sign. Again, you can do this only if you feel comfortable in knowing how to do all of this. Okay. Now, because I put a dollar sign, I can just drag this. What a dollar sign does, my friends, is it seals one block. So there were two parts to this equation. It took this cell over here. For this formula, it took this cell and divided by this. For this formula, it took this cell and divided by this. If I would have not put the dollar sign, it would have taken the second part of the equation as well. So if you're not comfortable doing it, don't do it. Okay, so that was just to teach you all something in Excel. If you feel comfortable, do it. I'm going to do it the basic way so that you don't get confused. Okay, so employee benefits, we'll take the employee benefits, divide by total sales, enter. Equal to other controllable expenses, divide by total sales, enter. Is equal to divide by the total sales, enter. So now we know our other controllable expenses are 47.84%. Okay, your piece of the pie is starting to become smaller and smaller. Again, now we're going to know how much is the income before the occupancy cost. So same way we learned last week is equal to your gross profit minus other controllable expenses. We say enter. We want to know the change. We want to know the difference. How much money are we talking about that's changed between this? We want to know the exact dollar value. So we'll say is equal to the upcoming year minus the current year. So we know that number as well. Let's make this also bold so we know what we're talking about. Same way, we want to know how much the percentage, how much the income before occupancy cost is. So we say upcoming year divided by total sales percentage. All right. This is an important line over here for calculating our break-even point, and we'll get to that part later. That's in 2.3. The next step we are going to identify is the interest, depreciation, and income tax. So we've got over here that occupancy cost will increase by 2,000. So again, we have a dollar value that's given to us as 2,000. So we just enter 2,000. Let's highlight that. We don't need it anymore. Interest and depreciation will remain the same. Now over here, they're not saying will remain the same percentage. They're just saying it will remain the same. And when they say that, it means there will be no change. So we just put a 0, no change here. Put a 0, no change here. Put in the total. Total is equal to occupancy cost plus interest plus depreciation is equal to total over here. Just going to make these bold. So change is equal to, remember our formula, current year plus change equal to the upcoming year. Same way, current year plus change equal to upcoming year. Made a mistake there. All right. Now we want to know how much of a profit or loss are we going to get. So we say it's equal to the income before our occupancy cost minus the total interest, depreciation, and income tax. We want to know how much of a change. So after all these projections, how much money difference is all of this going to make for me? This number is very important for me. So I say it's equal to 184 minus 154,000. So after making all of these changes that we just did over here, we will get an additional profit of 29,721.82. But we don't know how much does that really mean in percentages. We want to know from a percentage perspective how much profit percentage have we actually increased. Okay, so we'll do it in the same way. We take each of these guys and divide it by the total sales. Now our numbers are speaking to us a little better. Okay, so if I had to just understand this, I would first see for my current year, let me just calculate how much difference are we talking about here in a difference of percentage. Okay, so this is with this change over here. I'm going to check out the current year. Let me just do this math and see what it looks like. So I say is equal to here divided by gross profit. Sorry, I made a mistake. Sorry, I'm having a moment here. Okay, and I'm just going to convert this into percentage. So look at that. So this tells me as a manager that my current year I have a profit percentage of 8.86%, but with all of these changes I'm going to get a increase of a change of $29,721, but it actually means I'm increasing my profit percentage from 8.86% to 10.06%. Now that makes a lot of sense to me. That's what I want to see. I want to make sure that I'm always above the 9% or the 10% to make my business truly profitable. That's my target. That's my goal. Those are my management goals. So these numbers will not make so much sense till the time I see it in a percentage value. So I'm happy with this. I like this projection. Okay. So 2.1, exercise 2.1 is over. Congratulations. Part 1 is done. We're now going to move on to 2.2, and 2.2 should be very simple for you. It shouldn't be too difficult. So we're going to do an income statement and then calculate the percentage in the same way that we did for 2.1, but there's no change over here. This is just a basic income statement that we did last week. This is more of a refresher. So let's open this quickly. So current year, let's do this. Food sales. Go to introduction sheet. Press the cell over here. Food sales. What is our beverage sales? Say equal to, go to cell, say beverage sales. total sales. Total sales is equal to food sales plus beverage sales. Okay, put in a formula. Food sales is equal to this food sales divided by total sales. Now it's showing me a dollar value here. So I want to change it to a percentage. So I'm just going to highlight all of this and just click the percentage sign. And increase there, and I'm going to make it up to 2 decimal points. This is rounding it off. I want 2 decimal points. So we'll click on this icon here. Click it twice. You can click it how many times, how many ever numbers you want. We want 2, so we leave it at 2. Bingo. Spot on. Now, food cost is equal to, let's go back over here. Food cost, beverage cost. You should be able to do this activity on your own if you did this last week. This should not be too difficult for you to solve. So I'm going to do this food cost. Now, how do we remove food cost? Food cost divided by food sales. And then we can do into 100. It's giving me a dollar value, so I'm just going to highlight all of this and put in the percentage. Is equal to food cost divided by food sales. 37%. I'm going to highlight all of this again. Take it all in one go. Say I want percentage and I want 2 decimal points. Much better. So beverage cost divided by beverage sales is 25.58%. Total cost of goods sold is equal to total cost divided by total sales, 200. How do you find the gross profit? Gross profit is equal to total sales minus total cost of goods sold. From a percentage value, gross profit percentage is equal to gross profit divided by total sales. We have a number here. I'm going to make these 2 bold as well. All of this, I'm going to make it bold. Make all of these bold. Yeah. Salaries and wages is equal to, go back to your introduction sheet and say salaries and wages. Employee benefits is equal to, go back over here, say employee benefits. Other controllable expenses is equal to, go back to this sheet and say other controllable expenses. Excellent. Total controllable expenses is equal to salaries and wages plus employee benefits plus other controllable expenses. Percentages, very simple, equal to the cost divided by the total sales will give you the percentage. Remember, I'm not multiplying by 100 here because I've already set the cell in the Excel sheet for a percentage. Okay. Income before occupancy costs, very simple, is equal to gross profit minus total controllable expenses is equal to this number here. Percentage is equal to the cost divided by total sales to 100. Occupancy cost is equal to, let's find the number of occupancy costs. Bingo. Interest. How do I find the interest? Okay, got it there. And then the depreciation. It's right here. Total is equal to occupancy cost plus interest plus depreciation. Sorry. Operating profit or loss, final profit or loss is equal to 269,397 minus my income before occupancy cost minus my total interest, depreciation, and income tax. So this is my net profit. But how much does this number mean? Is this 9%? Is this 8%? Is this 7? Is this 10? Is this 11? I don't know. I want to know what this number means to me. So I'm going to go and try and find that out, because that's what a good manager does. So it's equal to, now I want to find out how much the occupancy cost percentage of my business is. Occupancy cost divided by total sales, 4.73%. How much is my interest divided by total sales? Depreciation is equal to depreciation divided by total sales. And now the total is equal to the total divided by total sales. And now this is the moment of truth. I want to know how good my business is doing. Net profit divided by total sales, 10%. Beautiful. It meets my targets. I'm happy with this. How do I know if my answers are correct? If you remember in the previous week, we added up certain percentages together to make some sense of it. So we had taken the total cost of goods sold. We took our total. So let me just do this over here. Just want to check if it all sums up to 100. So it's equal to, I'm taking my total cost of goods sold plus my total controllable expenses plus my total interest, depreciation, income tax. It's equal to 90%. Is something wrong? You forgot your profit. Don't forget your profit. That's part of the pie too. 10% here. That gives me 100%. So I know my answer is absolutely correct. Okay. Now we're going to move to exercise 2.3. We're reaching the end. Stay with me. We finished with all of this. We're doing well. In exercise 2.3, we're going to calculate the break-even point for 2.2. In sales dollars, giving the contribution margin is sales minus variable cost. Okay, so over here now, we have the fixed cost. Do we know what our fixed cost is? Let's go to, he said, the instruction said go to exercise 2.2. So let's go to exercise 2.2. Okay, what is our fixed cost? Do we know our fixed cost? Where's our fixed cost? There's so many numbers over here. There it is. Salaries and wages, employee benefits, and other controllable expenses, these are all our variable costs. Our fixed costs are right here. This is our total for our fixed cost. So let's go to exercise 2.3 and say is equal to exercise 2.2, say our total fixed costs. Say enter. Okay. Now we want to know what the contribution margin is. Before I spoke to you and I told you what the contribution margin is, a contribution margin is basically our total variable costs that we have over here. Also, after what we call as the prime costs. Okay, so in this case, it is 24.91%. We know it's 24.91%, so we say it's equal to, let's go back over here, say a contribution percentage is 24.91%. Now, we know that we can't really divide. There's a misfit over here. It's not jiving. The numbers are not jiving. We have a dollar value over here in the occupancy and the interest and the depreciation, our fixed cost. It has a dollar value, and over here we have a percentage. Okay, we have to convert this percentage in a dollar value as well. So to do that, I'm going to draw this on the side over here. I know some people know how to convert percentages and how to move decimal points, so some people don't know how to do that. Okay, so if this is 100%, and we write this over here as 24, let me just draw it for you. Sorry. Remove all these lines. Okay, perfect. Okay, so how do I move decimal points? So we've been given 24.91%. Okay, and we want to move it by decimal points. Decimal point there. Okay, so how do we move the decimal point now? Very simple. We want to change this percentage into a decimal point, so we move the decimal point 1, 2, and we're putting the decimal point here. Because we move 2 spaces here, we take our decimal point from the denominator, we move 1, 2, and we put the decimal point here. So this now is equal to 0.2491 in a dollar value. Okay, so that's how. Now I'm not going to put 24.91%. I'm going to change this to 0. I'm going to delete that percentage sign. 0.2491. So it's changing to a percentage. I'm going to change this from top over here and change it to general and make it 0.2491. And now when I do this, equal to my numerator, my fixed cost divided by the contribution margin. And now I know that this is my break-even point. Okay, so this tells me that my answer is absolutely correct. I know how many dollars I need to break even for my business, and this is exactly the amount I need to break even. And with that, I think I can sum it up. In case we want to touch base on the break-even point, we can touch the base in our meetings. But this is the end of the training for this particular module. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day, and thank you for seeing this video. Thank you.